right, in this video, we are going to practice invoicing delayed charges. The exercise we're going to follow along with is over here on the right-hand side, and this is pulled from our advanced level ProAdvisor certification course. If you would like more information about that course after we go through the exercise, be sure to click on the link below in the description. Let's dive right in and see what our scenario will be for today. Craig installed a new garden at Red Rock Diner, and the owners asked him to handle the watering. Craig needs to stop by twice per week to water. He may need to do some weeding intermittently too. Craig only wants to invoice Red Rock Diner once for these visits at the end of the month. So far, Craig has watered the new garden twice last week. He already did it one time this week and plans to stop by again this week as well. Plus, this week he is going to weed. So let's see how to get this all set up. You will need to be in the sample company to do this exercise. Now, if you're not sure how to get into the sample company or get your own free QBOA account, be sure to click on the link below in the description. I have the sample company pulled up here on the left-hand side. This is the dashboard. So let's go ahead and get started with the exercise. Now, because you're recording this now, but sending an invoice later, you're going to use the delayed charges feature. We'll start by setting up the charges for last week's watering. So to do that, click on the plus new button and then select delayed charge. The plus new button is up here on the top left corner of the screen. Click on that. And then under customers, you want to select delayed charge. Now, Craig tells you that he charges $25 per visit. So let's go ahead and fill this out. In the customer field, we want to select Red Rock Diner. So you can either use the down arrow and scroll down, or you can start typing it here in the customer field. Either way is perfectly fine. Once you find it, go ahead and select their name. In the delayed charge date, we want to select last Friday's date. Now, as a note here, if you are doing this, your date is probably going to be different than what you see here, but if you're doing this exercise on a Friday, just choose the previous week's Friday. So click into this. You can click on the little calendar to have a calendar pulled up, or you can type it in there. For me, last Friday was February 9, so I am going to just select that. Again, your date will probably be different depending on when you are doing this exercise. On the first line in the product service field, we want to select gardening. So click into this field right here and then go ahead and select gardening. You can start typing it in and there it is. Once you find it, go ahead and select it. Now you could create a separate line for each day that Craig went to go water the garden, but for this exercise, we're just going to use one line for both days. Also note that with the dates in the sample company continuously changing based on when you complete the exercise, we're going to use a very generic date format, but feel free to use actual dates if that is helpful for you to see. In the description field, we're going to, after weekly gardening service, type MMDDYY 2 times. So click into that box and then type a dash MM/DD/YY, comma, MM/DD/YY. And again, you could use actual dates here if you would like, but for the purposes of this exercise, we're just going to use a generic format. That sample company is always changing the dates, so let's just leave it, keep it very simple for us. In the quantity field, let's go ahead and type 2. So click into it, delete what is currently there, and click on the 2. And in the rate field, we need to fill that out to 25. Remember, he said it's $25 every time he goes to visit. This line is indicating the 2 visits from last week. So type in a 25, and when you hit the tab key over, you will see that QBO has automatically made the calculation of 2 times 25 equals $50. So this delayed charge is all set up. Let's go ahead and click on Save and New. That is down here on the bottom right corner of the sample company. And that delayed charge has been saved, and now we're going to set up the delayed charge for this week. Once again, in that customer field, we want to select Red Rock Diner. Again, you can start typing in their name, or you can hit the down arrow and scroll to find them. Once you have their name, select it. In the delayed charge field, we're going to select this up coming Friday. So click into it. You can click on the calendar to make it easier for you, or you can click into, or you can actually type in the date itself. For me, it is February 16, so I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And once again, your date is likely to be different depending on when you are doing this exercise. And if you are doing this exercise on a Friday, just choose the following week's Friday. Now, Craig also indicated that he did some weeding for $15 this week. So let's add this to the delayed charge. And as you can see, this one is showing up here because that's what we did in the last delayed charge. This is perfectly fine to leave it as is. If you did put an actual date here in this description field, you would want to go and change it so that it is making sense for this particular week rather than just having it as the previous charge's dates. And once again, this can be left very generic for right now. In a real life scenario, you would want to make it as specific as possible. So on the second line in the product service field, we want to select gardening once again. So click into it. You can go ahead and start typing, or you can scroll, whichever way you want to do it is fine. Once you find it, go ahead and click on it. In the description field, we're going to update this to say weeding. So click into it, delete what is currently there, and then type in weeding. In the rate field, this is $15. So click into it and then go ahead and type 15. And that is, if you hit the tab key, you will see it has been moved over there, and QBO has updated the calculation to include the total charge for both of these. So this delayed charge is all done and all set up. So let's click on the down arrow next to Save and New to select Save and Close. The down arrow is right there. Go ahead and click on that to get Save and Close. And now that delayed charge has also been saved. So let's see where you can find the unbilled charges. From the left navigation bar, we're going to hover over sales and then select all sales. That is over here. Here's that left navigation bar. Here is sales. Hover over that and then select all sales right there. And you can see here that the two charges that we just created in the sales center at the top of the list are at the top of the list, but you can see this in the unbilled charges area too. So we're going to click on that dark blue unbilled income box. So if you get any pop-ups, just go ahead and click out of them. But here we can see those two charges because we just put them in. If we had tons and tons or we did it at another time, it would not necessarily be here at the top. So the way to find it would be to click on this dark blue, you see unbilled income, go ahead and click on it. And there we go. You can see that the two charges will appear at the top of the list since they are the most recent. Now their status is open because we have not invoiced them yet. You can see that right here. So let's say that it is the end of the month now and it's time to invoice Red Rock Diner. To invoice them, we would click on the plus new button and then select invoice. That's again at the top left corner here. Click on that plus new button. Under customers, select invoice. And then let's go ahead and fill it out. In the customer field, select Red Rock Diner. Once again, down arrow or typing it in is perfectly fine either way. Once you find their name, go ahead and select it. You will see their information appear, as well as a pop-up drawer will show up here on the right-hand side that shows both of those delayed charges that we just created. So we'll want to add all of these to the invoice. Go ahead and click on Add All to have them moved over here right now. In the invoice date field, let's select the last day of this month. That is right here. So click on that calendar and then select the last day of the month. Yours will likely be different than mine, but for me, it is February 29th. So I'm going to click on that. The invoice is ready to send to the customer and it shows the 4 watering visits. You can see 2 for this week, 2 for last week, 2 for this week, and the weeding on a single invoice. Here's that one weeding. So everything is now showing on one invoice. Now, normally from here, you might want to click the save and send to email the invoice to the customer, but we're just going to close it. That's because the sample company does not allow us to actually send the invoices. So let's go ahead and save and close by clicking on the down arrow next to save and send to select save and close. That is down here. Click that down arrow zero. Select Save and Close. And that invoice has now been saved. But let's take a look at how this shows in Red Rock Diner's profile. We're going to click on Customers, that is this tab right here. Select that and then scroll down until we find Red Rock Diner so that we can click on that as well. Once you find their name, just go ahead and click anywhere on that line there. And here you will see the invoice has been completed. Both delayed charges are going to be marked as converted in the status column, meaning that they were included in an invoice. I'm going to collapse this column here just so you can see my screen a little bit more. And here are those two charges. It is showing as converted. They are part of this invoice that we just created. And that is it. That is how you would invoice delayed charges. Now, if you like this exercise and you want to do more like it, or if you would like more information about that advanced level ProAdvisor certification course, be sure to click on the link below in the description. And I will see you in the next exercise.